I can't think of any reasons or advantages to date a 31-year-old over a 21-year-old, for me personally.
So can you clarify what your advantages would be for dating a 21-year-old over a 31-year-old, since you're comparing the two?
Lower body count, less baggage, probably better able to pair bond. There's a few there. You got some. It sounded like you might have some more. Better looking.
That's a stretch. That's the thing. Everything you just said right there.
Bro, come on.
No. What he's saying is true. What he's saying is true, but
it's so subjective, though.
No. Like it's like some things are subjective to Brian's experience, and like some things aren't, right? But like, let me break it down to you this way. So like, let's say like a 21-year-old. Well, let's make it normal, because like obviously you hear 21 and you guys are like, oh my god. Okay, let's just make her 24, and let's make the older woman 32. A 24-year-old woman is going to be much more easily impressed than a 32-year-old woman. Like, because the 32-year-old woman has been dating more, and you do need an element of being able to look up to your man in order to probably want to stay with him long term. Because there's some women that are like, I make 6 figures, like, what do you give to me? Or I've been to Dubai, or I've traveled the world, I've done this, that, and the third, like, what can you do for me? And he's like, well, if I can't impress you, why wouldn't I just date a younger woman that I could?
This sounds like such a stressful situation to only date someone because you are not experienced in like other things that you could see in your life. Like, I don't want to date someone just because I haven't met, other people. I don't know how to say this. Men and women are
different. We want different things.
That just sounds like a very sad experience to me to only acquire a partner based on them not knowing what they could have in their life.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys all a question on this. Let's talk. I'm going to start with you, okay? Actually, maybe Ali, I can start with you. How tall is your husband?
Yeah, he's 5'8".
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
Do you have a preference for dating a man who's taller than you? What?
Well,
not now. I know you're married.
He is taller than me.
He is taller than you.
Yeah, if you're asking me about 6-foot men, I made a decision a long time ago not to date 6-foot men because they're very confident.
I'll move on this. Continue.
On what?
Do you have a height? How tall are you?
I'm 5'4", but
do you have a height preference?
Yeah, I like taller guys. Mostly
a little closer to the mic.
Like 5'10" to like 6'2" is like the perfect range for me. Just because like I like where they stand, like the way I could look up at them, and like it just.
Okay, so you're 5'4" and you prefer men who are 5'10" to 6'2". The taller, the better.
Yeah.
Would you date a guy who's shorter than you? Not that there's many, but.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot that goes into dating. Like, I don't think I'd be sexually attracted to someone who's shorter.
Maybe that's a better question. Would you be attracted to a guy who's shorter than you?
Personally, no.
Okay. What about you? How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
How tall is your boyfriend?
My boyfriend is 6 foot, but every single person I've been with has been at least like 6'2", 6'3".
Every single person that you've hooked up with has been at least 6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a height limit? Bare minimum height for you?
There was this one guy that was like 6'5", and like we couldn't. Like,
I mean, okay, he was too tall.
Yeah.
I mean, on the lower end.
Oh, on the lower end.
5'10", 6 feet.
Like, I don't know, 5'7".
Okay, but all the guys that you have been with have been 6'2", 6'3", except for your boyfriend who's 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're 5'2", correct?
Yes.
Okay, what about you?
I'm 5'4".
5'4", do you have a height preference?
I mean, I like tall guys, but I've been like with like guys who are like 5'9".
5'9" the shortest you've been with?
Like 5'7" maybe.
5'7", okay. And you said the 20 body count, correct? Mm-hmm. So of the 20, give us the height.
Like, who's the tallest or shortest?
Yeah, like generally speaking, would you say most of them were 6 feet and up?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a height preference? You said height preference for taller men.
Yeah.
Would you date a guy shorter than you?
No.
Okay. And you again, you're 5'4", is that correct? Okay, what about you? Do you have a height preference?
I don't have a height preference. I would date somebody shorter than me.
Okay. Height preference?
No, I'm 5'9". I've dated guys that are like 5'7", so...
Okay. So you don't even have a slight inclination towards men that are taller than you?
I mean, objectively speaking, obviously women find men that are bigger than them attractive
That's
for
true.
the most part. That's just also biology, same as
Yeah.
men liking younger women.
Yeah.
But if I like someone, it doesn't really matter to me if they're 2 inches, 3 inches shorter than me.
Well, in order for you to like someone, there has to be some initial physical attraction.
Yeah, I don't think their height dictates that
Okay.
completely.
What about you?
I'm 4'11", so I don't typically come in contact with guys smaller than me.
Wait, hold on. You're 4'11"?
Yeah.
So. All right. Okay. Sorry. It's just chat knows I have a thing for. If she's not 4, excuse me. If her height doesn't start with 4, she ain't the one. But go ahead.
You should be careful with that statement.
Wait, what?
Preference.
What the fuck, Hiko?
I'm just kidding.
Listen, what's wrong with?
Jokes and laughs.
I like
Jokes and
dwarves,
laughs.
dude. Chill out.
They need love too.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Any love? No. Audi love. But okay, come on. Get it right. All labia matter. Okay. You're 4'11", so probably most guys are taller than you.
Yeah.
Would you date a guy shorter than you?
Depending on the person, I guess, but
Mhm.
probably not.
Okay. Do you have a height preference?
Maybe 5'7" and up would be nice.
Okay.
I'm 5'7",
How tall is your boyfriend?
6 foot
Okay.
flat.
How tall is the? Would you date a guy shorter than you?
I have
Okay.
like an inch shorter. I don't think I would do it again because I love my platform shoes. Like even my boots right now have a good like 4 inches on them. I'm always in my platforms. And whereas I don't care being taller than them, it's not a concern to me. I've seen how they show concern for it. They don't usually like it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So to just bring it back to what you were saying, you said it was a sad way to view dating.
I do.
To be like using these metrics to kind of assess potential partners. But women have all kinds of metrics with which they assess their partners. I think it's just shocking for women to hear men actually articulate the things that we care about. Because I think it's honestly shocking for a lot of women to hear men actually articulate the things that men care about.
I think that if, what a man is looking for is for a woman to be, I think that if what a man is looking for is for a woman to be impressed by what he does for her out of her own lack of seeing what is available in the world, then to me, that is sad.
Well,
I'm not telling anybody else what they can and can't prioritize. To me, that's not a relationship that I would want to be in.
Well, I mean, I wasn't taking it like that, and perhaps that was in response to something Ali said, but originally I think I had stated that I don't see the advantage of dating a woman who's 31 versus 21.
Sure, you don't have to.
There's no advantage to me.
I think that there's a lot of advantages of dating a person who has been on this earth for longer and knows more
So
and
has
more
a higher body
experiences.
count and more promiscuous and more baggage from past relationships.
If you don't see the merit of somebody being on this earth for longer and accruing more experiences, then I can't tell you how to see that.
Right. So, like, here's the thing. It's not...
Because this is something that's viewed as merited in men.
Well, that's something that... So, like, what you're saying, I get where you're coming from. Like, oh, that's so sad. She hasn't seen the world, and so she's so easily impressed. I think we're missing an element of romance. There are some things that are special to just have with that one guy. And I mean, all of us can relate to, hopefully your first kiss went well, right? But like, that's just like a special frozen moment in time. But if you're a woman and you're constantly dating, you've been to like the nicest restaurants, because the premise is that the woman is probably like 32, because I won't do 30, right? We'll compare the 24-year-old to the 32-year-old. But, like, there's things that are just like not cool. You've already cohabitated, so you've already lived with a man, so it's not special if you cohabitate with your cousin. And even,
Whoa,
my bad,
Freudian slip there.
No, it's not special if you cohabitate with your husband because you've already cohabitated with a boyfriend, right? So that's like one thing that's just not really specific to you guys, and it's more than that too, right? So it could be the best sex of your life. Like, what if that's not your husband? And that would be wonderful if it was a beautiful moment between the two of you. And the last thing I would say is having a child with your husband, because if you have a child by another man, that's already something that you've given a man the highest honor of being a father. So that's something that you wouldn't be able to afford to your husband. So there's just an element of romance. Like, we can't just pin it down to a level of naivete. These women can't do it themselves, because we can. We can make six figures. We can travel the world. We're very safe to be walking around at night. We can do all of these things. But it's more special when you do it with that one guy.
I think it all stems down from people just need to date people in their caliber. Okay, you wouldn't have a problem impressing that girl because she's been to these nice restaurants in Bali or whatever, if you could take her to better. It's why we see most celebrities only dating other celebrities. We don't see singers, whatever, dating their fans, because you want to date somebody. I think even Brian's brought this up in past podcasts. You want to date somebody on the same caliber as yourself. So if you can't afford, yeah, we did. If you can't afford Dubai, not on this podcast.
No,
on podcasts.
women want to date men on their caliber and up. Yeah. Men don't really care about that.
But you say men don't care about that, but you guys are so concerned about dating women who haven't experienced much, so you guys can wow their panties off, is what you've been talking about.
Wait, but you just said men. You just said men want to date.
You're saying you want to date someone who's 21 over 31, because how are you going to impress the 31-year-old?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's what Allie's saying.
Well,
okay, so how are you going to impress the 31-year-old who's seen it all? She's already been to the finest islands, the finest restaurants, whatever. Yeah, what I'm saying is then you should be dating somebody who you can show those things for. Leave those girls to the people who can show them more.
No, so I get what you're saying, but like the problem is more of the inverse. Like, the men that can provide that to young women, they have a lot of options. So there's a lot of women out there that they kind of realize one day that they can't quite get that guy. Because I think, like, our problem with Brian is that Brian is in the streets, okay? But
what? Whoa.
Not it doesn't have to be bad. You're in California.
I'm not in the streets.
Was it 3.86 million subscribers?
What? Did you just assume my streetness?
I'm sorry, how tall are you?
6 feet or 6'1".
Ryan, what's your body count?
Well, as a man of God, I do not reveal.
So you ask all of us.
Yeah,
and then you don't
it's really unfair, isn't it?
Because I think it would be different. And like, if Brian came out and said, like, I'm looking for a wife, I'd rather be with a younger woman that I can impress than an older woman. You might be like more willing to accommodate that. I'm not sure, but I think like that's a pretty fair statement to make. People should be dating in their caliber, but a lot of times.
Wait, what's a fair statement to make, that I'm for the streets?
I mean, you're acting like the streets are bad.
Because I have, bro, right here. Right here.
Okay.
I don't know who I'm going to propose to tonight. It's kind of a questionable panel, but.
Well, maybe you know what? Maybe you are looking for
she's 4'11".
I get confused.
What? You got a boyfriend, Kiko. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So like, you make a lot of sense, but you can tell that you make a lot of sense about men because you're in a relationship. I don't know how long it's been.
It's new.
Yeah, it's still new, but at least you got a boyfriend to commit to you that you're attracted to. You know
and
what
I would say, even since being on this podcast, I started this podcast single when I first started coming on here. Even from how short my relationship's been, part of my opinions have changed, and not only have some of them changed, but it's making me see where the other person's coming from. Like earlier, you said something about, you know, if a girl has slept around multiple times, how does she know she's already had the best sex of her life if she gets a new man? Guy I'm with right now, honestly, if we don't work out, probably going to be thinking about it for a very long time.
So you're telling us...
That's good. That's cute.
You're telling us we're not getting sexually frustrated Kiko.
What?
Is that what
are you talking about?
Well, because you were a little spicy the previous shows, and was it you weren't in a relationship then? Now you got a boyfriend. You're in that.
The walkout still would have occurred with a boyfriend or not. Still would have been happening. I'm saying some of the things that I've stated. I'm not even sure if I could say that I've completely changed my stance on some things, but I could see. Beforehand, I could not see why the other side was saying things they were saying, but now I understand both sides, if anything.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense that men enjoy younger women, you know, like more, or like might want to date them more. That's not to say that that's who they're going to approach.
Yeah.
Right? Like who a man wants, who people want is very different than who they're likely to approach. People are more likely to approach people they believe will say yes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cameron Oyola super chatted $100. Brian is a man of God.
Apparently. My bad, Brian. My bad. I was wrong. Yeah, but I think
Well, let me address.
He identifies
let
as a
me
man.
address the
She belongs to the streets.
thing really quick here. So, I think it seems like because of my large following on social media, you think that I'm for the streets, among other things. Living in California, I think previously I said I'm not a particular fan of marriage.
Yes.
However, I am a fan of long-term relationships. And while I'm not interested in marriage, I am interested in serious monogamous relationships. Me personally, sleeping with a new girl every week doesn't interest me. And it really honestly has never interested me. It's never interested in me because I've always preferred continuity with a partner. And even if my motivation was sex, I think the most consistent and best sex you're going to get is within the confines of a relationship. You know, if you have a continuity there, just on a purely physical level, they know exactly what you like. They know what you like. You know what they like. You have a comfort with each other. And if you love each other, I think that makes sex way better. So, I mean, I don't, there's no point to me to sleep with a girl once. I've had, like Santa Barbara's a very touristy city. So I'll have girls that I'll match with on Hinge or whatever. And they're in town for the weekend and they'll be like, let's hang out. And whatever. It comes up that they're just in town for a brief period of time. And I'll say, hey, I'm not interested. Even if it's just like, I'll come over and fuck you, it does not interest me. It's not worth my time. The only girls I want to have sex with, I want to continue having sex with them and pursue it because I don't know. To me, it's just not, like I said, I'm very busy. It's not worth my time. And yeah.
Oh, look at that. I
Wholesome
love
Brian.
that. Yeah,
Wholesome
Brian has entered the chat. Yeah, it sounds like you're a long-term mating strategist. That's most people.
Yeah,
most
but
people want one person.
Marriage is an L.
Yeah,
I
it
think
can be. Well, have you seen the statistics? It's pretty bad. Okay, so like there's
in terms of like divorce statistics.
So yeah, we know the divorce rate is high, right? But this is some more statistics. The more people that you've slept with as a woman and as a man, the more people you sleep with, the less satisfied you'll report your marriage, supposedly, right? And keep in mind, the 50% of people that divorce, as an aside, they're just the ones that had the courage to leave. So I would say like a good deal of marriages are unhappy. I get DMs all the time because that's my bread and butter. I talk about marriage, how to get married, how to stay married. So the sexual number of partners a woman has had in her life does also correlate to that. I don't know why. It just is that's what's been reported.
Also, just to add to this really quick, as far as just me preferring having one partner, I don't have the time or the energy to want to be juggling multiple women. It's just, I'm very busy with my business. So it's like, if I'm trying to bring in new girls, it would be bad for business. It's too much of a time sink. Whereas if I have one girl who's just, I can see her once, twice a week, maybe, then that's, to me, that's ideal. That's consistent. Because honestly, I'm so focused on my business. I don't, guys who work 9 to 5s or who are in college, it's, you have time to pursue women, but like, I really don't have the time to be being a hoe, basically. So it does not interest me. And for the success of my business, like I said, I don't have the time to do it. Really quick.